This is Eovolt's first own proprietary design, and I believe it's setting a new benchmark for folding electric bikes. So this is the much anticipated Eovolt Afternoon 20-inch Pro folding electric bike. About 18 months ago, Eovolt did a 16 million fundraise, and that enabled them to bring in their own team of engineers to start innovating and designing their own complete proprietary product. And this is the first product from those engineers. It features no less than 39 design and spec improvements from the previous models, and it has 6 design patents. The best thing I can say about this bike before we get into the real tech and spec is this bike has been designed to make your life with a folding electric bike as simple as possible. As you'll see in this video, all you have to do is pedal this bike and the bike will do everything else for you. So just before we get really into this video, I just wanted to point out that this bike does come with mud guards and a rear rack as standard. This was an early production model and I've just removed the rear mud guard. On to its purpose. So what is the purpose of the Afternoon Pro? Well, to be honest with you, it's exactly the same as our other 20-inch folding bikes in our range. If you want to commute on this bike, then absolutely perfect. It will fold down very easily, as you will see with the new patented folding mechanism later on in this video. If you want to combine it with other modes of transport, stow it away next to your desk, stow it away in the back of your car, stow it away in your motorhome. You know, if you've got limited storage space at home in an apartment or whatever it might be, absolutely perfect. But also, if you want to get a little bit more adventurous on this bike, then it will quite easily go down a canal towpath or a bridleway, and you can have a real adventure out on this bike. Colours. The Afternoon Pro is available in 4 colours. What we have here is the taupe, which is like a sandy colour. It also comes in anthracite grey, which is like a battleship grey, mineral blue, which is a pastel blue, and smoked green, which is a lovely pastel green colour. All of the colours are very soft pastel colours, very inoffensive and look very classic. So onto the frame and fold. So this is where we come across the first patent protected features on this bike. So let's just talk about the frame first. Like I said earlier, this is a complete own proprietary design. It's a beautiful, clean looking bike. All of the cables are integrated across the whole bike. We have all of the welds that are hand polished. It has an extremely nice premium look to it. We have a locking mechanism here, which I will tell you more about when we get into the battery system. Now onto the fold. So this is where you're going to start to see the first real design features. So basically it's the same as most folding bikes. The cockpit folds down and then there's a center fold in the middle. Now we have these little rubber pulls which you just gently pull and then fold down the cockpit. So this is the first bit of clever design. Folding bikes are absolute murder for getting scratched and marked, because when you fold something down, parts of the bike hit each other, especially on the fork. This bike has been designed so no part of the bike can touch another part, hence it means that you don't get a lot of scratches and marks with this bike. The only part here that can actually touch anything is when the stem here can touch the frame, but a rubber patch has been put in place on the stem to make sure that there's no marking or scratching done there. So that's a nice little feature. Then you just pull the little rubber bung on the center and then it just simply spins round and then locks into place at the back. So very straightforward so far, but this is the first sort of design patent that we're going to talk about, and this is on the fold and go locking mechanism. So the new patented design is actually built into the frame, so it's very clean. It's not like a bracket that hangs off. It's all designed and integrated into the frame. Now you can push this bike along in its folded form, and when it holds the wheels, both wheels are perfectly parallel to each other, and when you push this along, the wheels will not separate. It's a problem with a lot of folding electric bikes. You especially use a plate and a magnet. The wheels aren't aligned properly. They're always trying to get away from each other. It's very, very annoying. Also, this holds it so if I bounce this up and down quite vigorously, you can see that that is not wanting to separate. So it holds it incredibly securely. But the clever part of the design is when you want to actually separate that very secure mechanism, you simply just tap the handlebar and it separates it at the back. Incredibly clever piece of design and very, very simple. Now, onto the sort of eureka moment with the new patented auto locking hinges. A lot of bikes, when you fold it out, you have to fold it up and then you have to lock a little thing in, and then maybe you've got a safety collar you've got to put across or a safety catch that you've got to put down. It just all adds a little bit of faff to the folding mechanism. When Eovolt designed this bike, they wanted to make it so easy to ride and to unfold and fold, and this is where the new patented self-locking hinges really do stand out. So I've tapped the handlebar, I've released the back. All I do now is just bring up that, and then and we're ready to go. Literally unfold this in 3 seconds and this bike is ready to ride. It's an absolutely ingenious piece of design, and it makes the unfolding when you get the bike out incredibly easy and incredibly quick. Onto the cockpit. So again, completely redesigned cockpit. The sweep of the handlebars has been designed to make sure that you get the most comfortable riding position. Also, the bike comes with 3 spaces, small, medium and large, and the shop will set that up for you when you go in to pick up the bike. So you will try out each one of those spaces, and whichever handlebar height is perfect for you, that spacer will be inserted. Again, the real clever bit of this design is it means that every time that you fold the handlebars up, they're at the perfect height every single time. Also, a really key part of the cockpit is we have an SP Connect integrated phone mount. SP Connect is one of the biggest phone case brands in the world. You can just go onto Amazon and find the SP Connect case for your phone. Buy that, put your phone into the case, and then you can just lock your phone into the cockpit and it is securely held. And then if you're wanting to use Google Maps or any of the other apps that will be useful of you when you're riding your bike, then you can access them from your cockpit and know that it's securely fastened and your phone is not going to be in any danger. Drive system. So this is where there's another very standout feature with this bike. Let's just start with the LCD on the handlebar first. So basically, you've got your 5 levels of assistance that are operated from this LCD, and the screen is the button. The screen just tilts back and forth for you to choose your modes. That means that there's no little buttons to try and access, especially in the winter. If you've got quite heavy gloves on, they can be a little bit awkward to get hold of. Very simple with this. Just push the top of the LCD screen or push the bottom to change your 5 power modes. Now, you'll also notice that we've got belt drive. Belt drive is obviously a lot less maintenance. It's a lot easier to look after. Now, we have a Bafang 250 watt 45 Newton meter motor. That's the strongest motor that Eovolt have ever had on any of their bikes. And also you will notice on the very clean look of this cockpit, there is no gear lever, and that is because this bike actually changes gear for you. Everything around this bike's design, like I say, has been designed to make everything as simple as possible for you. So basically, you've got a 2-speed gear system integrated into the hub motor, and it works off a calculation of torque and cadence. So if you're on the flat and your cadence is getting high and your torque is getting less, then it gives you a heavier gear. Similarly, if you go from flat and hit a hill all of a sudden and your cadence comes down and your torque goes up, then it gives you an easier gear. Trust me, I've ridden this bike a lot, and just at the moment where you think I could actually do with another gear, whether it be up or down, the bike changes gear for you. It's absolutely fantastic. Now, we're here in the amazing Lake District, and if you click on the link that's going to appear in the corner in a minute, you will see me taking on Honister Pass on this bike. Honister Pass is one of the steepest roads in the whole of the UK and the Lake District. It has gradients of over 25%. You really shouldn't have any business of trying to ride up a road like that on a 20-inch folding electric bike. But this Afternoon Pro, with this belt drive, these 5 levels of assistance and the internal gears, managed to get me up there without any problem whatsoever. Now onto another massive design patent on this bike, and that is the new battery system. So those of you who know Eovolt will know that they are big believers in having the battery in the seat post, and all of our other bikes have always used a seat post battery. But they looked at that system which is a open source battery system that, you know, not just Eovolt use, but other brands use as well. And thought, well, how could that be made to be a lot better? So the first thing you will notice that now the connector is now at the top and not underneath. When it's underneath, it is a little bit more difficult to access, whereas here now it's very easy. And also, fantastically, it's a magnetic connector. It just self-locates into position. Again, this is where the design has been made to be as easy as possible. We also have a groove in the back of the seat post here, which is part of this locking mechanism for your battery. So they went and liaised with Abus, who are the biggest brand of locks in the whole of the cycle industry, and Abus have designed a battery locking system, so you can lock your battery in place and this battery will not be able to be stolen. But the very, very clever bit of the design is that basically that's in the lock position now. You can still move your battery up and down freely even though it's locked. It's only when someone tries to take it that it hits the buffer at the bottom of the groove and it can't come out. Very clever piece of design. Also, what's very nice about that bit of design is when that groove is locked into that back of that the battery here, or sorry, the notch is in the groove of the battery here, it means that your saddle is perfectly centered every single time. So again, these are things that are designed to make the bike as easy to use as possible. Your handlebars come up to the perfect position every single time. Your saddle is perfectly centered every single time. It's designed that when you unfold this bike, you just get on it and you start pedaling. We have a small, medium and large gauge here, so you would just make a note of what your saddle height is and then just make sure that you bring the saddle up to the same height every time. Now also, another clever bit of this design with this battery system is in connection with now an asymmetric center kickstand. On other seat post battery bikes, including our lower range to be fair, the battery needs to be in place in order for the bike to fold and stand in its folded position. A lot of people sometimes find the weight of an electric bike to be quite heavy. Now, with this, with the asymmetric center kickstand, you can completely remove the battery from the bike and the bike will fold and sit in its folded state on the kickstand. You don't need the battery. So that can mean that you can make the bike significantly lighter when you're picking it up to put it in the back of your car or into the back of your motorhome. This battery system is absolute genius. It's very, very clever piece of design. And also, we'll get into the lighting later because there's something very clever there as well. But I'm also delighted to say now that the battery is integrated, the light is now integrated into the battery and is connected to the battery power as well. So when you turn on your lights, you have front and rear lights that run off the battery power. So, one of the biggest worries is when we invest in a nice product like this is that it might actually get stolen and you'll want to secure it in the best way possible. So Eovolt have thought of that as well. I'm not going to tell you in this video where it is, but you will get the information when you receive the bike. There is a place on this bike that has been designed to hide an Android or Apple AirTag. That means that if you are misfortunate enough to have your bike stolen, you will be able to locate it very, very easily and go and talk to the police about going to retrieve it. Again, another very clever, simple piece of design, which is designed around helping you make sure that you have this bike for many, many years to come. Lights. So as I mentioned earlier, the Afternoon Pro now has both lights that actually are powered by the battery. The front light is a light move bike that is incredibly bright and will light up the road fantastically for you if you are riding on dark evenings. And we also have a really nice bright rear light that is now integrated into the battery. But where the very clever bit is that these lights actually turn on automatically. You can turn them on from the LCD if you want, but as soon as the bike detects that the light is getting a little bit lower or it's starting to go dark or you've ridden into a tunnel, the lights turn on automatically. Like I said before, everything about this bike has been made to make your life easier. All you have to do is pedal this bike. Wheels. So Eovolt actually make all of their own wheels in their own factory in Lyon. They invested in all the wheel building machinery back in 2023. What that has resulted in is a much higher quality wheel that is 200 grams lighter than the wheels that we previously used. The rims are sourced in France, so the quality control is extremely high. And also upon those wheels now sit Schwalbe pickup tyres, the very best e-bike tyres on the market that have 6 layers of puncture protection. So let's just run through a few of the other little extra parts to make sure that you've got all of the information about the spec of this bike. So we have full Shimano hydraulic disc brakes. So Shimano are obviously the biggest, most trusted maker of bicycle parts in the world. So the very best there. We have new pedals. So the pedals have a new anti-slip surface, which means that if you're out riding in wet conditions, the abrasive surface on the pedals gives you a very secure footing so your feet won't slip. Obviously they just fold like normal pedals, they just fold in. Also, the mud guards are now made on the Pro from recycled plastic. Not only is that good for the environment, but it means that actually if your bike falls over in the back of your car or the back of your motorhome, a metal mud guard will tend to dint or actually, you know, move, and then when you get the bike out again, you've got to try and rebend it into position or try and knock that dint out of that mud guard. With recycled plastic, very cleverly, it just flexes, and then when you get the bike out, it just goes back into its natural position and you don't have to do anything with it. Again, all based around simplicity and making your life as easy as possible with this bike. So in conclusion, now I've explained all of the tech, spec and design features on the Afternoon Pro, I hope you understand why I believe that this is setting a new benchmark for folding electric bikes. A folding electric bike should be made to be as simple as possible and integrate into your daily life in the easiest way it can be. That has been the whole mission statement with the design team at Eovolt around the Afternoon Pro. Basically, from the very simplest, easiest folding mechanism to the handlebars being the same height, to the saddle always being centered, to the bike changing gear for you, to the lights coming on automatically, everything has been designed and geared to make your life as easy as possible. Trust me, all you have to do on this bike is pedal it and it will do everything else for you. It's an absolute joy of a bike to ride, and if you go and get one for a demo ride, you will really truly understand what a phenomenal folding electric bike the Afternoon Pro really is.